Yes. Well, now let's talk about this. Big stories in the news yesterday. An actor from the TV show The Shield is accused of a horrific crime. And authorities have some questions about Will and Jada Pinkett Smith's parenting skills.
So let's talk about it. Richard Roth is a trial attorney here in New York City. He joins us now to decipher the legalese in these cases. So we were just talking during the break. This thing with the shooting in California, Michael Jace apparently shot his wife, and there are stories that this was in front of the children, right?
You want to talk about a smoking gun, literally? I mean, he's just literally, the neighbors are complaining, guns go off, the police come, his wife is sitting there, is lying there, about to die, she dies, he's there, the gun is literally almost smoking, and you have the two children under 10 years old in the house. It's a horrific story.
And, you know, there's word that he even called in the shooting himself. As an attorney, what does this mean for him?
It's a tough case for him. Yeah. We have an admission, we have his hands on the gun, we have witnesses, we have, you know, surrounding circumstances, and he has a history. The guy had a prior abusive relationship with his wife where he actually was guilty of, and there are financial issues. So as an attorney, you can't come up with a more difficult scenario to try to help a guy out.
I mean, do you proceed with something like emotional distress and manslaughter instead of murder and, you know...
You try, you know, aggravating circumstances. Many times if there's someone who walks into a bedroom and sees their spouse and they shoot him, you know, there are some circumstances that are manslaughter versus intentional crimes. It's a toughie, though, because they were arguing, there's a gun in the house, she's dead, the kids are off, so, and an admission.
And reportedly they had just come home from baseball practice or a baseball game, so there wasn't really that type of a situation that he walked into. Quickly before we move on, can they bring in the previous relationship and things that happened into this case?
The answer is yes. If it's a conviction or a plea or something which is determined by a court, absolutely, and that's problematic for him. So he will try to reduce it, but this is going to be a plea, and he's going to be in jail for a very long time.
And then the bottom line, the kids. How do they recover?
Oh, it's just heartbreaking.
Two boys.
Yeah.
Another family, Will and Jada Pinkett Smith. So apparently it's all about this.
You already rolled your eyes.
It's about the photo of their daughter in bed with a 20-year-old man.
Yeah, a 13-year-old girl, Willow, and the man I mean, he doesn't have a shirt on, shirtless, and they don't think much of it. So what happened here is the Los Angeles Department of Children and Family Services said, well, you know, we got to look into this. There's something weird about this. She's 13 in bed with a guy, and what they'll do is they'll open up a file. They're going to open it for about a month. They're going to look into it. Now, obviously, presumably, the parents are legitimate and real, and they're you know, they're affluent and they're well recognized in the community. So hopefully, it'll be something that closes within a month. But it is a little weird to have...
What could they be found guilty of?
They won't be found guilty, but they may very well be... they may have to go to some kind of a training or some kind of a actual learning how to bring up a child. You know, it's sort of eerie. It's a spooky picture.
But the teaching moment for everybody is don't have your 13-year-old girl in bed with a shirtless 20-year-old dude.
Right.
My daughter's 15, and she said, what's the big deal, Dad? It's
well, like, what's the big deal?
Here's the big deal. We'll be investigated.
Exactly.
Well,
and that's exactly what Will Smith is saying. Oh, my goodness, look what's happening to me now.
Wow. And a lot of people that didn't think there was a big deal about it, they're not recognizing the fact that things can happen.
Yes.
You know, so, all right. Well, now, the NBA is moving fast to try to eject Donald Sterling from the league. So what's going on here? Is it a matter of time before they force him to sell? What is it, June 3rd?
Oh, yeah, without using too much of a pun, this is game over. This is game over for Mr. Sterling, because what's going to happen is on June 3rd, all the coaches vote. And if they have a 2/3 vote, then, in fact, he will be ousted from the league. And that's what should happen. The undercurrent is swelling. The players have really taken a very strong position. What he said is disastrous. And then, in addition to that, what they found in the report yesterday is that he actually withheld information. He lied to the authorities. He doesn't want to pay the $2.5 million fine. So Mr. Sterling is going to be he's going to be forced to be he's going to be ousted from the league.
So beyond the fact about the questionable legality about how these comments were obtained and disseminated, it doesn't matter because the league. He signed something that said they have that kind of power to force him to sell.
That's correct. There's a constitution in the NBA, and under the constitution, if he engaged in inappropriate acts, and I'm paraphrasing, inappropriate acts, then in fact they can oust him from the league. And they're not going to have a choice. Could you imagine Mark Cuban or the coaches voting in favor of Mr. Sterling? It'll be an outrage. So they're all going to vote. Presumably all will vote against him, and he's gone.
Wow.
Yeah, game over for Mr. Sterling.
All right, your next trial, you have got to wear that tie because no jury would be able to withstand it. Look at this guy.
Trying to keep up with those shoes.
Oh,
yes, ladies and gentlemen of the jury.
Romance, everyone. Yeah. I feel like Richard is going to be back. So
thank you, Richard Roth.
Thank you so much.
We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.